Picture this. One fine morning you wake up, and there is a zombie apocalypse in your city, Resident Evil style, and you are the only living being in the city of undead, who is now trapped in this living nightmare. You turn on the TV to see what is going on. But it turns out, the zombie virus has spread nationwide, and the government has ordered emergency lockdown in the entire country. All hope seems lost, but then out of sheer luck, you come across the antidote for this zombie virus. But there is a slight problem with this cure. You have to clap them zombie cheeks in order to cure them.
Bruh.
Yep, that's the plot. And I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to clapping cheeks, zombie or not, I'm still hitting it. Anyways, let's start the manga recap. Meet the protagonist of the day, Yu Okinawa, 22-year-old shut-in who also just happens to be a virgin. Just like you. Currently he is immersing himself in some cultural content, because there is a freaking zombie apocalypse in his city, and this is the only thing that is keeping him sane in this situation. Since our boy Yu is a shut-in, he already had the necessary supplies at his place, so there was no need to worry. He closes the curtains of his apartment after seeing the depressing sight of the city, and goes to relieve some stress, using tissue paper. Since Yu is too weak to beat any zombie, he decides to beat what he can, his little Johnny. While he is busy calming himself down, someone is firing gunshots in the streets. Turns out there is a badass chick, who is fighting a zombie with thick dump truck. Jealous of his ass, she headshots him and looks for a place to hide. She then spots a light coming from one of the apartments in the distance. For now, she decides to head there and take shelter in that building. Unbeknownst to her, our loser protagonist is currently busy in rubbing one out, and he is just about to climax right now. That's when he hears a loud bang on his door. He holds his minigun in the left hand, getting ready to engage in a shootout if there is a zombie outside his apartment. But surprisingly, he hears the sound of a girl outside his door. Yu takes a leap of faith and opens the door. It's the hot chick who was earlier in the streets, and she is being chased by a zombie. Due to her sheer momentum, she ends up falling on top of Yu and she ends up headshotting the zombie and empties the gun. Despite looking like a scientist, her shooting skills seem to be maxed out for some reason. But do you know who else shot something? This dumbass, because it was his first time feeling the softness of a girl's bakery buns, and the sensation was too much for him. So, he ended up shooting his load on her hand. Embarrassed, he apologizes to her and goes in the bathroom to clean himself. The girl then cleans herself as well, and notices that our boy's apartment is full of filth. Just like my mind. Anyways, the girl introduces herself as Sunny Isu, the most beautiful and best chemist in town. Yu calls it cap about her being the best chemist and asks why she is here. That's when she proudly grins and opens the briefcase she was carrying around the whole time. This is the cure that can single-handedly end the zombie apocalypse in this country. But there's a twist. This vaccine has never been tested, and theoretically, the odds of this cure to actually work are only 1%. After explaining all this, her adrenaline wears off and she falls to the ground. Feeling relaxed, she expands on her lore and reveals that she used to work for the government in a secret lab located deep into the Japanese mountains. There, the scientists discovered a new virus strain and observed its deadly properties. It was too dangerous, so they started engineering an antidote for this, and Sunny was also involved in this process. Although they were successful in developing a cure for the virus, but it was already too late. The virus was too contagious and it had already infected several people in the research facility. Soon there was chaos in the laboratory, and the undead were shredding their victims to pieces. During this chaos, Sunny's seniors entrusted her with the vaccine, and from there, she started her marathon career. She ran for days, not knowing where she was going to end up. Fortunately, she came across a city and was relieved to see that humanity was still thriving. What she didn't know was that the virus was spreading at a much faster rate than she expected, and this town was already a den of zombies. While she was running for her life, she spotted an apartment in the distance with lights on. Finally, someone hasn't been turned into a zombie, and in that moment, she dropped her guard. Bad move, because a zombie spawned next to her and bit her on the arm. That's right, she is infected. And to make it worse, her vision has been blurry lately, and she's starting to feel really heavy. Opening the bag, she tells him that she is going to use the cure on him, because using it on herself would be a waste. But before she does that, she asks him a very important question that may very well decide the future of humanity.
Are you gay?
Huh?
You think Sunny is messing with him. And no, he does not swing that way. Hearing this, she feels relieved and reveals her personalities. Seeing this, blood starts flowing to our boy's head. I mean the other one. And the next thing we know, she gets down on her knees, ready to give him the legendary Gok Gok 3000 treatment. But in the next panel, we see you shouting on top of his lungs. Well, it turns out that Sunny stabbed our boy's shawarma with the antidote and injected it. Honestly, I would much rather hand over my neck to a zombie rather than this sort of treatment. Sunny apologizes to you for dragging his sorry ass into this mess, but since the antidote was injected into his wiener, she theorizes that his white sauce now acts as a vaccine. So now, she wants him to clap her cheeks and release a dose of the zombie vaccine.
Huh?
Hearing those words for the first time, you doesn't understand what to do next. And just like that, Sunny goes full on zombie mode. She starts biting him as if he was a snack. Bro was supposed to be the savior, and now he is the one who needs to be saved. It's a do her or die situation for him. He knows if he doesn't act fast, all of Sunny's efforts would be for nothing. So finally, he decides to do her and adrenaline quickly kicks in, giving his strength levels a temporary boost. He then grabs her plump cheeks and pins her to the ground. Since he is total noob at this, you misses the target a few times, but after a few attempts, he finally gets the hang of it and starts giving her them back shots. He gets carried away and starts enjoying this method of saving humanity a little too much. After a while, he regrets that he lost his V card to a zombie, but it was all worth it since the treatment worked, and now Sunny is finally cured of this deadly zombie virus. Feeling rejuvenated, she sits down on the nearby sofa and starts explaining our boy on how this antidote thing works. So here it goes. This serum is called the Z serum. When injected into a healthy person, their immune system starts making antibodies, which counteracts the zombie virus. That's why the zombie bite you got from Sunny, while she was a mindless zombie, has already started healing. Which means, the white liquid of our boy, you acts as a zombie cure now.
Oh! Ew! Dude!
But for that to happen, he needs to make physical contact with the zombie, aka clap them cheeks. And thus with the exchange of bodily fluids, he can inject them with his white serum. With that being said, Sunny tells our boy that the key to solving this zombie problem lies within his legs, and he has to cure every single zombie like he cured her. Instead of going full Resident Evil style, blasting zombies with bullets, he is going to blast zombies with his Compound V. But wait a minute, my question is, how he is going to cure the male zombies? Does you have to clap their cheeks as well?
Why are you gay?
I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. After that whole horror show, Sunny takes a hot steamy shower to clean herself up. Feeling relaxed, she asks you if he has any food at home. That's when she spots an instant ramen cup nearby. She heats it up and thoroughly enjoys it, as if it was going to be her last meal. But much to our boy's misfortune, that was actually the last bit of food he had, and now, they are out of supplies. Sunny eats her ramen and starts explaining him her plan. There's a huge pharmaceutical complex in Tokyo, so that's their next stop. After reaching there, Sunny plans to refine the vaccine and use body and turn it into a stable cure, so they can finally put an end to this madness. The plan sounds really simple, right? Wrong. That's because their actual chance to reach Tokyo in one piece is basically 0%. They got no supplies, no equipment, and no weapon to defend themselves with. So now, they gotta explore the whole building and scavenge what they can, as they have no choice. And once again, despite being a chemist, for some reason Sunny's parkour skills are also maxed out. They start searching the rooms one by one, and lucky for them, they are able to find some canned food in one of the apartments. While Sunny is busy searching the apartments, you remember something. The next room belongs to a girl who had anger issues. But them big personalities though. They open her apartment's door to see what's up. But it was too late. The girl had already been turned into a mindless zombie. You suspects that she wasn't in her apartment during the outbreak, and got bit on the calf. Knowing that she would soon turn into a zombie as well, she came home and tied herself up to prevent herself from biting anyone else. Sunny goes closer to assess the neighbor, but she suddenly wakes up and was about to attack her. But thanks to the rope, she was saved. Sunny gets a brilliant idea. She grabs the nearby rope and starts tying the girl up even tighter. Finally, after she is done with the girl, Sunny signals you to hurry up. The bite mark on her calf looks fresh, which means she was turned into a zombie few days prior. She then taps him on the shoulder, as if she was saying, "You know what to do next." Realizing he has to smash this zombie chick as well, Yu starts hesitating. Furthermore, he is scared and his member down there isn't cooperating as well. But it's not like he has a choice either, because if we are being honest, options are limited in this messed up world. Sunny tries to cheer him up by showing him her sweet juicy melons, so his head can have adequate blood supply. She then gets closer to you, making him realize that for him, zombie cheeks are like free real estate. He can clap whomever he wants, and the best part, he can't get infected. Saying this, she gets up and leaves the room, giving you some privacy so he can inject his white serum. While she is standing outside, she hears the backshots that our boy Yu is giving to that zombie chick. Strangely enough, she goes into jealous girlfriend mode, because for her, she lost her V-card to our boy, so she might be catching them feelings for him. Which is perfectly normal if you ask me. After that intense medical procedure, you freeze the girl from the ropes, which were holding her arms together. After he was done freeing the girl, Sunny enters the room. As they were thinking what to do next, much to their horror, zombies have found their location. They start banging on the door, and it's getting difficult by the minute to hold them back. Finally, those freaks bust through the door. Looks like it's game over for loser protagonist and the overqualified sidekick. But out of nowhere, the neighbor wakes up and she goes full on berserk mode. She throws the closet door towards the zombies. But our hero party is in the way. It's a quick time event, and somehow, Sunny and Yu manage to dodge the heavy object in a split second. How the heck is this chick so strong? Maybe she drinks protein shakes, that's why she is so freakishly strong. But before they could breathe, the next wave of zombies starts coming through the door, and the loser protagonist Yu keeps freaking out because if they keep coming like this, he might have to cure them as well. But who in their right mind wants to clap zombie cheeks? Especially male zombie cheeks. Because he is not Diddy. Lucky for him, the neighbor once again lifts a heavy-ass object and yanks it towards them. After she is done with the zombies, she turns around and faces you saying,
"It's now your turn to get wrecked."
You being the coward he is, grabs Sunny like a little bitch. But after going full on berserk mode, she falls on the ground because, most likely she used all her energy resources to fend off those zombies. So they have no choice but to carry her to a safe place.
A few moments later.
The neighbor wakes up and starts eating as if her hunger was endless. This girl could definitely give Big Smoke from GTA San Andreas run for his money. She introduces herself as Kanai. Sunny introduces herself and Yu to her and reveals that our boy cured her from this zombie virus. Since it's getting dark outside, our hero party decides to call it a day because tomorrow they are going to head out and start their journey towards Tokyo. Kanai doesn't want Yu no way near her, so they use a bunch of objects to make a border. Furthermore, she warns him that if he tried to touch her, she will f*** him up. It was one hell of a day. Our boy tries to fall asleep, but he got too much on his mind right now. He goes to check if the internet is working, so he can watch some hentai. But nope. No cultural stuff for poor boy. Curious, he takes a sneak peek at the ladies section to see what's going on. Much to his surprise, Kanai is wide awake. He quickly tries to go under the sheets and pretends as if he was sleeping. But before he could do that, she wakes him up and tells him to shut up. Kanai asks him to follow her lead, and like a beta male, he does just that. Because if he doesn't, he is going to get his ass kicked from her. After going into another room, she turns around and reveals that the zombie virus is still inside her body, which means she is not fully cured right now. Maybe that's why she was able to lift those heavy-ass objects like they were nothing. She grabs him by the hoodie and threatens to throw him down if he doesn't cooperate. Even though she hates this method, it's the only way she can go back to being normal. In that moment, Yu realizes the gravity of the situation he is in. He is the only one who can save people in this messed up world, whether he likes it or not. She then grabs him by the neck, forcing him to fulfill her demand. But then, she lets it go. Kanai starts crying and tells him that she is serious about this. Moreover, she won't give herself up to just anybody. It's just that this method happens to be the only cure. So he takes her hand and goes to a nearby bed in order to start her treatment. But before they begin, she puts her hand on his face saying, "It's too embarrassing for me to look you in the eyes in this situation." With that being said, Yu pulls his pants down and whips up his bioinjection filled with his white serum and starts treating her.
A few moments later.
After they are done with the medical procedure, Kanai notices that she is completely healed now. Now that her problem is solved, she pushes him to the side and goes outside without properly thanking him for his act of service. But in reality, she was just too embarrassed to say anything after what they just did.
The next day.
Sunny wakes up and sees that Yu and Kanai were already awake, which puts her off a little bit. Ignoring that, our survival gang decides to have breakfast, and just like that, their last bit of supplies was gone. Yu rubs his two brain cells together and suggests that they should go to the nearby supermarket to refill their supplies. But Kanai shuts him down, saying, everybody else probably had the same idea. Look what happened to them now. While eating breakfast, Kanai notices that Yu isn't eating much. So, she tells him to stop being so considerate and shares her bit of ramen with him as well. Noticing the whole vibe shift, Sunny asks if anything went down between those two while she was asleep. She then puts two and two together and figures it out all by herself. After they are done with their breakfast, Hero Party decides to ditch their old clothes for something travel appropriate. But for some reason, Sunny refuses to ditch her dirty lab coat. Even when it smells disgusting, she still won't let it go. So Kanai decides to help her clean it in order to make it look presentable. Among all this, they find Sunny's gun, which she was using to fight off zombies while she was in town. Of course, it's out of bullets now, which renders it useless. Meanwhile, our drip lord Yu is waiting for the ladies so they can start their journey. Just look at that jacket. Chris Brown got nothing on my boy. Soon the ladies join him and they start heading towards Tokyo. They decide to avoid alternate roads as it may draw unnecessary attention towards them. While on the road, they spot a car in the distance. They go closer to check it out for any supplies, but Sunny warns them to be careful, as there might be a zombie in the car. She also hints that if they run into any zombie, you can just blast his white serum in their bodies and cure them. Our boy isn't exactly thrilled to hear this because, who wants to get down and dirty with these undead creatures? Kanai pats him on the shoulder, as if she was saying, I envy you. Because to her, it's like a superpower, and it probably is. But for all the wrong reasons. A few stops later, they notice that there are a bunch of zombies in the nearby supermarket. Upon looking closely, they notice that a girl is trapped in that supermarket, and those monsters are trying to eat her alive. Sunny quickly asks Kanai if she can go berserk mode like yesterday.
Nope.
She can't even open a stuck door now. Her power levels are at 0, which means she is basically useless. They need to make a choice right now. Leave the girl alone and save her later after she is zombified. Or, they can risk it all and save the girl right now. Yu's inner Chad comes out, and he decides to tackle the situation head-on. But Sunny stops him, saying, it's dangerous to go out there and save her right now. But Yu claps back at her, reminding Sunny that he almost lost his life while saving her. This is the moment when Sunny realizes that, despite being a weakling, our boy got that dog in him. So she tells him to take a different route while approaching the supermarket. While Yu goes through the back door, Sunny picks up a rock from the ground, and then she hits it midair. Looks like it's going to break the window.
Nope.
The rock just bounces off the window. While Sunny was trying to look extra cool, the zombies have already gotten to the girl, and they are about to turn her as well. That's when Sunny breaks the supermarket window with a flying kick and hits a zombie straight in the chest. The girl instantly starts fangirling over Sunny. Meanwhile, Sunny tells the girl to grab her hand so they can escape. Both girls escape through the broken window, but as they are running, a zombie starts moving towards Sunny. Looks like it's game over for our favorite chemist Chan. But surprisingly, the girl swings her wooden sword at the zombie with all her might and obliterates him. Sunny then does a judo trip on the stunned zombie, taking him to the ground and finishes him. She tells others to jump across the nearby wall, and they do so. The schoolgirl introduces herself as Noriko. She asks them who they are, and they introduce themselves to her. Then the ladies check Noriko to see if she was bitten anywhere, but they touch her inappropriately, so she starts crying. Upon further inspection, she reveals that there is a huge refugee camp in the nearby trade center. Our gang is happy to hear that there are other survivors as well. They ask Noriko to lead them to this trade center, but for some reason, Noriko declines their request. Once again, our boy steps up and tries to convince her, and surprisingly, she actually agrees to help them. While walking towards the trade center, you ask Sunny about different ways a human can get infected from a zombie. For starters, if a zombie was able to scratch your skin, you can get infected. Also, if you somehow kiss a zombie, you can get infected. I swear, only Diddy can do something like that. And still, the zombie would get infected by the DIDDY virus. And last but not the least, if you are freaky enough to give a zombie the Gok Gok 3000, you will most definitely get infected. A few moments later, our gang reaches the trade center. Just a quick glance, and you can tell that the security here is really tight. Sunny asks Noriko if she is coming with them, but she refuses and tells them that she will stay behind. Something sounds fishy. It turns out that, when Noriko was in the supermarket, her hand got scratched by one of the zombies. Which means, according to Sunny's knowledge, Noriko right here is infected. After reaching there, the security quickly surrounds our heroes and start asking them a bunch of questions. Hearing this commotion, a shady-looking man in a suit comes outside and tells the security to calm down. He introduces himself as Sensei and invites them inside the trade center. Sunny explains that they are going to Tokyo, and if he can give them some food for their journey, they would be very grateful. But the sensei apologizes to them saying the food supplies are already running low in the refugee camp. He offers them a tour of this trade center, but there's a condition. Kanai won't be able to visit the trade center with them. She resists at first, but then agrees to stay at the entrance. This condition seems weird to Sunny, but she goes with the flow. He then shows them the refugee camps they build for the survivors. Sunny decides to take a sneak peek into one of the camps, but the sensei scolds her and tells her to respect the personal space of the survivors. While walking, he tells them that all the mess started 3 months ago, when this damn zombie virus outbreak took place. There was hopelessness among citizens, and soon, due to high stress, fights started to break out among the survivors. And according to the man himself, when he stepped up to the leadership, everything went under control. But for now there is a huge challenge for them. They are running low on supplies real fast. Sunny gets a brilliant idea and asks him, why don't they use the nearby supermarket? The food there is basically waiting for them. But the sensei reminds her that, although what she said was true, but the problem is there were a lot of zombies the last time they checked. After finishing their tour of the trade center, the duo heads back to the main entrance. But wait a minute, Kanai is missing. Sunny stomps the ground in frustration, as she knew that something was wrong. She should have done something when she had the chance. Somewhere in the facility, we can see that the security is taking Kanai to some secret place. As this chapter comes to an end, the security men decide to use Kanai as a meat relief. She can't contain her emotions any longer and starts crying. Meanwhile, Sunny and Yu run around the facility to save Kanai from those beasts. Sunny runs around the survival facility and completes an entire lap. But she wasn't able to find Kanai anywhere. Furthermore, Yu was nowhere to be seen as well, which could mean he was also abducted by those barbaric security men. Realizing she is all alone in this messed up situation, she has to come up with a plan real quick. And that's exactly what she does. Using her athleticism, she quickly climbs up the nearby building to get a vantage point. But unfortunately, she wasn't able to spot anyone, even after climbing that high. What's worse is that she couldn't hear them as well, leaving her clueless in the middle of this situation. On the other hand, the head of security is about to take advantage of Kanai. Honestly, he is the worst guy in this entire manga so far, and deserves to be zombified. So Yu Okinawa can give him that Diddy backshot treatment. Meanwhile, Kanai accepts that she can't do anything in this situation. Tears start flowing down her cheeks as she feels helpless while surrounded by these beasts. But channeling his inner Randy Orton, like RKO, Yu comes out of nowhere and tackles the head of security to the ground. Realizing she has been saved by those bastards, Kanai starts smiling. But upon seeing what happens next, she couldn't even believe her own two eyes. Since Yu was carrying too much momentum while tackling this guy, he accidentally gobbled his hot dog and unintentionally gave him the Gok Gok 3000 treatment.
Huh?
Even the head of security was like,
Hey yo, what the fuck?
the guards standing nearby after seeing this be thinking,
Hey! He's gay!
Yu somehow manages to get up from that traumatic experience, and the guard standing nearby goes behind him and immediately whacks him behind the ear. Thinking he has been incapacitated, the security men go right back to satisfying their hunger. But our Boyu just wakes up and was like, "Did something happen?" The security guard freaks out and goes in for another hit. But to his surprise, Noriko-chan enters the chat. She tells him that while they were gone, she saw these people taking Kanai to someplace hidden. So she knew she had to intervene. Thinking she is just a regular high school girl, the security men surround her, intending to quickly dispatch her. But Shawty got the moves, and she hands them their asses one by one. Taking advantage of this distraction, this coward body locks Noriko-chan from behind. Yu was taking care of Kanai, so he couldn't do anything in this situation. But our beloved chemist, Sunny Isu, saves the day and face plants the security guard into the ground. Realizing he is fucked, this scumbag runs to save his life. But he runs into someone. It's the sensei. He quickly takes care of him by smacking this guy in the mandibles. He approaches the hero party and then quickly apologizes to them for this entire mess. But then he looks at Noriko-chan and asks, "Why are you here?" Here it is revealed that the real name of the teacher is Ise. Since his security men were responsible for this entire situation, he offers to take care of them. And as for the culprits, he promises to them that he'll personally deal with them. But when Noriko-chan tries to approach him, he gives her the cold shoulder. Something definitely happened between them. In the next panel, we see a group of people approaching the survival camp. This is the exploration team of the camp, and they just came back from exploring the nearby area. The leader of the team hands Ise a bag claiming this was all they could find. But upon looking at Noriko, he angrily asks, "What the fuck is she doing here?" "Looks like it's time for a meeting," says Ise. They all sit in one of the rooms to discuss the current situation of the camp. Meet the leader of the exploration group, Kumagami, head of administration Ise, and the in charge of life support group Tae. Kumagami picks up the bag and shows what his group was able to find. It was just a pack of cigarettes, a protein bar and some canned goods, nothing of much significance. He explains that lately, the number of zombies have increased quite a lot, which means they are living life on ultra difficulty. Sunny chimes in and adds that their respawn time is under 10 seconds, which adds to the difficulty. "At this point we will have to harvest some crops with the help of agriculture," says Kumagami. But Tae shouts, "Stop joking around." She says for the past few days, all the laundry has been assigned to her, and the food portion she gets isn't sufficient. But Kumagami counters her point saying, doing laundry isn't as calorie demanding as going out and exploring for food. An argument ensues between them. With a serious look on his face, Ise smacks a wooden stick on the table and calms them down. Here it is revealed that the survivor camp has a separate food ration for emergency situations. Noriko-chan tried to steal from this forbidden food ration. Hence, she was banished from the survivor camp. "That's one less person to take care of and more food for us," Tae passes a cold remark. Kumagami reveals about the nearby store, which has plenty of supplies, and tells Tae to go ahead and grab as much food as she wants, saying, "Only an idiot would do something like this." Tae reveals that yesterday someone from the camp decided to check out that store, which shocks everyone sitting there. Hearing about this store, Sunny decides to check it out so she can fetch some food for her journey to Tokyo. Furthermore, she asks about the missing person from the camp. Tae reveals that the person missing from that camp is a woman. She wears a white shirt, high-rise skinny jeans, and has shoulder-length hair. Basically, she is a millennial. With all the intel needed, Sunny gets ready to leave for the scavenger hunt. But before that, she requests Ise to take care of Noriko until she returns back to the camp. He refuses and an argument ensues among the camp leaders. But in the end, Tae steps up and takes the responsibility for Noriko-chan despite her cold remarks earlier. With that taken care of, Yu and Sunny go to the zombie-infested store. They set up the nearby ladder and one by one, they enter the store through the broken window. But since there is no light in here, Sunny tells him to be very careful. Also, there is pin drop silence here, so he should keep his voice down. While going downstairs, Yu accidentally presses the elevator button and something hits the floor. Paying no mind to it, they continue to venture deep into the store. Unbeknownst to them, a zombie comes out of the elevator and starts chasing them. Deep into the store, they are horrified to see a bunch of zombies lurking around. The zombie from earlier launches a surprise attack and bites Yu on the neck as if he was a snack. But Sunny quickly comes to the rescue, grabs her arm and yanks her away. She goes to check his neck, but surprisingly, his neck was safe and sound. While Sunny is checking his neck, Yu looks at the zombie and recognizes her. This little accident of theirs wakes up more zombies, and if they are not careful, things could go from bad to worse. The zombie lady gets up, ready to attack Sunny. But oh my god, that cake is too big for me to ignore. Personally, I have never been more jealous of a manga character in my entire life. The zombie starts moving towards them. Sunny uses her own momentum against her and pushes her into the guardrail. With nothing to tie her hands with, she takes off her underwear and uses it as a rope. She then tells you to hurry up and start clapping them cheeks. I don't know about you guys, but if someone doesn't gets hard seeing those perfect bakery buns. Either
You are gay.
or you are into some Diddy stuff. But luckily, for the sake of the plot, you is neither gay, nor he is into Diddy stuff. He grabs her from behind to start the intense medical procedure. But there is a problem. With all those zombies in the periphery, he can't get his third leg up. Our overpowered side character comes in clutch and provides him with some fence service. This lights up a fire in his pants, and he starts going full on primal mode on her and gives her them backshots. After he is done injecting his white serum in her, Sunny takes off the cloth around her neck. But unfortunately, similar to Kanai, she isn't fully healed. Looks like you has to give her another dose of his compound V. As he was giving those backshots, he ends up making some noise.
Oh, I'm about to nut. I'm about to nut. Oh no.
But he quickly covers up his mouth. Sunny closes her eyes, hoping that the zombies didn't hear their voice. But much to her misfortune, zombies heard them, and they were about to chase them. She tells you to run, but the zombie lady fainted from taking all those backshots from you, Okinawa. Which means, they are in deep trouble right now.